we might sound serious, but it's real.
It's real,
It's
100%.
real stuff that
Well, a
we
lot
don't
of
get
people
to share
can,
and we don't get to talk. And some of you might be shocked right now because we sharing like this is open,
Zzz.
and that's what we do, right? So, man, that's good stuff. Like all that we were just talking about. Is that part of mental health? Is mental health in our Polynesian people, or that's just a word? Do
Oh,
they
it's
believe in
it's
mental health?
it's.
I do believe in mental health. I believe that. So I'm just sharing my manao.
No, go.
I've been seeing a lot of like media, social stuff, but I feel like if you give it like a percentage, there's like because being mental health is also being mental tough, right? Mentally tough, like having the ability to withstand, endure, trials. If something happens, you're not just going, like what we learned from football, right?
Absolutely.
So I feel like that is part of mental health as well. Like that, there's some not how long you can handle it, but are you willing to stay in the fire when it gets really hot? But at the same time, there's also the concern for the health of one's mental, the health of one's mental health.
Yeah.
But once one's is somebody getting depressed? Is somebody getting like that's different from toughness, right? Like so that's why I feel like in Polynesian it's almost like your 90% is your mental toughness. You're gonna come out of like you see our kids we react to certain problems like what are you crying for? And you see the other kid. I had an experience a while ago. Growing up if a kid fell, hit the ground, got up crying, and then you go, "Hey, you okay?" The answer naturally was, "Yeah." After they kind of collect themselves, yeah. Okay. I never ran into a situation that I was somewhere outside of like kid. He rode his bike, fell off, scratched his knee. I was like, "Oh!" But he started going, "Ah!" I went over there, grabbed, "Hey, you okay? You okay?" He was like, "No!" And I was thinking, like, I never even got to this point in the quiz before.
Yeah.
So I was like, so I do, as far as culturally, I feel like Polynesian, or especially our hometown, it's like 90% toughness. You guys, like, that's just part of, your daily life, your daily routine. You got to withstand. Hey, go to the farm.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't just get up and go, okay, ready, I'm done to go. I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
Like those kinds of things. But I feel like
Oh, yeah.
we don't pay attention to that other 10% or whatever the softer side of the mental health is. But
And I think all that exactly what we're just sharing about dealing with negativity, because that's all part of dealing with your mental health.
Yeah.
How to handle it. I think we just touched base on that, on all of that.
oh yeah.
Of how to handle people, how do we respond, how do we help someone respond, or how do we even help somebody go through whatever they're going through and the hurt and the pain. So no, because it is real,
Yeah.
and it's hardly talked about.
Yeah.
And we get so stuck in that, like you said, hey, just be tough, right?
Yeah.
That's all we hear. But sometimes we got to do it with love too. Sometimes,
Mhm.
nowadays we get to teach with love.
Yeah.
Any other stuff you guys want to share? No, we can keep
Yeah,
going.
if it's the way I look at it, it's either physical or mental/emotional, right? So whatever you categorize it, it's one or the other. So the answer is there mental health issues in the Polynesian culture? Oh, you bet. You bet.
100%.
100%.
And so physical it has its own path, but when it comes to mental/emotion, I just tie that together so it's easier to understand that it's crazy how much is out there, and it's crazy how much different sides of it is, and whatever side or wherever you are in life, that's the side you're playing.
Mhm.
So if you're the teaser, that means you're still going through the smoke. You're still trying to paddle uphill. You're trying to swim up the current.
You're trying to find your way out.
If you're out on the back end of the smoke, that means I'm starting to see where I'm trying to go with this. And unfortunately, a lot of people cannot fathom the idea that you are out of the smoke, man. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
It's
that's
sad.
true,
It's
that's
sad.
true.
So I'm just saying that just because you went through your stuff and now you're coming out, and I can start seeing where I'm trying to go. There's guys back there that say, "Oh, brother, come back over here," because I cannot watch you succeed.
Yeah.
Does it make sense or
Yeah,
what?
it makes
And
sense.
so really, it's like it just depends on how you want to accept it, and the people back there, they're not going to stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we shouldn't stop.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Let me
So what's cool is like again us three in this situation
thank you.
as we progress forward out of the smoke, right?
Yeah.
To move into platforms like this and just keep going. You know, I mean, like again, the pictures they had last of us were the pictures they knew, right? In
Yeah.
the smoke.
And it's
here
not
was
their
us.
fault.
It's not their fault.
It's not
just,
their fault.
That's human nature, like you said.
It's human nature.
And but to see, like for us, and to now to hear them have to like, bro, I see those guys. They stay online. She's done this podcast. You ever heard of a fuzzer cure?
But you see, I know. I thought we were getting out of the smoke.
No,
we're going
no.
back into the smoke.
We outside the smoke, looking back and going, "Oh yeah, the fuzzer cure was out of the
Oh
smoke."
yeah, there's
But
that's
but no,
a
like
whole
that.
nother show right there.
But, no, but that was for me. I'm just like,
The
man,
95 special, boy. Don't forget that.
no, I'm looking at it like now people have to take out the old picture they had of us,
Yeah.
and replace it with like say for like Stunner on the Get Stun podcast, he's talking to multiple guests, different people, us early outs, like they said, "Wow, look, that picture of us is old." They're like that, I've heard one person refer, "Wow, that's like almost 2 years old already," and I was like, whatever, challenges we had going through. So I just wanted to touch on that because it was
and a lot of it is the more okay, like I know you talked about it earlier. When you walk in the room, how you feeling? your guns are blazing, But at the end of the day, the more good you put out in the world, they're not going to accept the first good. Because they said, "Oh man, I still think that you gotta continue to do good and continue to improve." Eventually, they're gonna be like, "Look at this dude trying to be like." Over time, it's gonna be like, "Well, you cannot beat him. We might as well join him." If you catch him on the side where he's like, "You want a shot of the old me? I can give that to you on the side." But it's one of those things that on the first go around, nobody they were like, "Oh, you're still the same dude." More good you put out, before you know, you're like, "This is the man right here.
Yeah.
This is the one we're forced to follow. This man right here. Whatever happened in the past, we can still joke around it later. Like if we both are agreeing to joke around about it, you know what I mean? And then we just move on from there. But it's like anything else, it takes time. But if we're not starting now, that 21 days to make it a habit, before you know it, we will never get to that point.
And to that, about what we did in the past. Hey, great what we did.
Yeah.
Great what we did, but that's not who we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I mentioned earlier, we're trying to find an identity to fit into wherever circle or group what we're doing. So people are still going to think of this identity. Oh no, this is him right here.
Yeah.
This is him. No. Sega used to make fun of me over here. No, Isi used to do this here. I used to bully over here. So that is the identity they created for themselves, and which is fine.
Yeah.
Because that's not who we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's not who we are. It made us better people today.
Yeah.
And if you're going through that same, do not sit on that old past identity because that's not who you are.
Yeah.
Find your space. Find your walk, find that momentum going forward, find the peace in your heart to keep going forward because the noise will come. Just keep rolling forward, man.
Oh, and I think if you were to think of the people that have been through the trauma with you, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all have a million friends. We all only have one wife. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you have to. It's her. I'm just saying there's people that go through trauma with you.
Oh yeah.
That experience it. They might not have walked the same path, but they're willing to walk next to you through the smoke.
Bro,
you see what I'm saying?
No,
so crazy. The moment you feel sorry for yourself, you feel guilty, whatever. Why don't you put all that energy to the guy who said that you were this and that? We come home and we give it to the person over here.
Yeah.
And that's so unfortunate. So unfortunate that the one that we that cares more for us than anybody else,
Get our back.
and went
takes
through
care of us.
and went through the trauma with you.
Yeah.
A lot of us think, oh, I don't want broke my ankle. I don't want to have surgery on my ankle. Why you all piss off over there? If you're listening right now, trust me when I tell you, emotional trauma it takes so much more time to heal than physical trauma.
Amen.
Yeah.
Listen to me. I'm speaking from experience. And when I say that, it's because we always hurt the person that got our back, our front, our side, our up and our down. But it's the easiest target. Come home and say, well, you know, like, whoa, hold up.
Yeah.
Do I deserve that?
Right,
No,
right.
you just win, and you come home and you giving that to me. That's not fair.
Right.
Us as Polynesians cannot. We gotta go. We gotta keep hurting the person that
love
got
us.
our damn back,
Love
bro.
us.
You see what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and so whoever goes through the trauma, we also gotta understand that it's not only us. Our kids go through it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They're young. They cannot verbalize it, but as an adult, you gotta grow up
But
and
they see
understand,
it.
bro,
They see
bro.
it.
They
Mhm.
see the
It's a
fights.
memory card
Yeah.
that's
They see the
always been-
fights.
yeah.
They see the arguments. They
Yeah,
see
they
the
see it.
disagreements. I'm not saying you have to be perfect and not argue. There's a time and a place to say the words that you say, and not when your kid's sitting on the couch and you just ripping each other. And all comes from you not being able to understand who's who in my life.
Yeah.
You go kiss ass to these guys down the road,
Give all the time to them.
and then you come over here and you're like, you treat me like shit, bro. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Those people that go through the trauma with you, those are the people you got to care and love for the most. So
Oh, yeah.
sorry to.
No, and that's unfair. Go ahead. We'll touch a
No,
little bit
no.
more on
I
that.
was
Go ahead.
just agreeing because yeah, you're right. Like going through it, I know that they're like like you said, we have a million friends.
Million
Talk about more
friends.
boys, but then there's a few that will reach out, and then I know in my journey, like I had to I had to speak to some of the local our church leaders and
Yeah.
during the talk, like they were concerned if I was willing to go through it,
Yeah.
go through the repentance process.
Yeah.
But I had a conversation with one of the boys that called me to the side, and I told him, I was like, man, I know what the journey's like. It's like somebody just dropped me off out in Makaha, and I gotta walk back home. Ooh, gonna get emotional.
Yeah, do it.
The Uso
Yeah,
chimed
safe
in
space.
right after. He go, Soleh, I'm walking
Safe
with
space.
you. I'm walking with you, and I was
Yeah.
like, forgot. So I told my bishop that I was like, I feel confident because I got the right. Like the boys are the boys who I can always trust for a good time. Always trust
Yeah.
for. But then there was a few of them that just said that. So like, I'm walking right next to you, and I was like, man, and again, that's a far walk, huh? Makaha all the way
Yeah.
back home. We never do the 50-mile hike, but
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
but that was my little visual, and it ended up helping. It motivated me for like a good year and a half that it took for me to finally make my way back. And I was like, man, that was a journey, but it was worth it. Like you said, emotional trauma is
Yeah.
definitely a lot harder than physical
Big time.
trauma.
Yeah.
Big time.
So
No, thank you for sharing that, bro. And that's what this platform is. We get to, this is a safe space, and so important. What we say is the most people that love us is the ones we give the most hard time to.
It's
Because
unfortunate.
if we're not healing ourselves,
Yeah.
if we're not doing a personal healing ourselves, they gonna have to do it. Now, you guys are totally right. We go, then we get hurt, then who gonna take care of
Yeah.
us?
Yeah.
Not our friends
yeah.
that you were just mixing with, not our friends. It's our wife, the kids that are gonna do the
Yeah.
hours, the same ones
Yeah.
that we didn't care all the 20 hours that we weren't home.
Yeah.
And we give all the headaches to. So that all comes because this is real talk. What we're doing.
Yes, very much.
And it's a healing for us men, for a reminder, to say, check yourself, check ourselves before we start.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's easy to attack
'Cause we
the
treat
people around you. Yep.
We treat our, what song you like here? Okay. Boom, boom.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
Oh
kids
yeah.
like say, can you play a song? Oh, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Oh, why are you tired?
And there's millions of examples of that. But
Yeah.
the moment you can realize what it is, or who's who in your life, who's on your team, and who's still on your team somewhat, but they're not on your inner, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I mean, if people ask me, I say, man, if you cannot treat your wife better than you treat your friends, then obviously it speaks for itself. We have things backwards. Until you can, and some people aren't ready. That's the unfortunate part is some people are not ready to understand that. They're like, my wife good, she's solid.
Yeah.
But yet we go down the road and we give
But that's
all of our
that's
aloha.
just the height. That's just hiding.
Yeah,
You say that.
no, 100%.
Just ignoring the responsibility.
100%.
You know.
100%. But at the same time, it's one of those things that you, as the man, the father of the house, the Mataya of the house, the priesthood holder, whatever you want to call it, when you walk in the door, you determine how the rest of the house is going to act.
Mm-hmm.
You walk inside and you're like pissed off as a motherfucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What? If you don't think your kid's gonna be like, ooh, that mad, I'm gonna run to the room.
Yeah.
Or are you trying to get them to come run and hug you? Because time flies by. You have 3 graduates.
Yeah.
You remember when they was young and they would
yeah.
run up to you and say, time flies. We ain't getting that back. Money comes and goes. This time you ain't getting that back. And these kids get old enough to where I ain't trying to hug my dad right now. I'm good. I'm old. And those are the things we need to cherish. And after the kids grow up and get out, the only person got your back is the person laying next to you.
It's your wife.
I'm not saying that cut everybody off. I'm just saying just prioritize people in stages and say, here's my number 1. My real small circle is my number 2s. The guys I like to laugh with and play music with 3. However you want to categorize it, but it's got to be in stages to where it's like, no matter what happens, I'm gonna drop everything for my number 1.
Yeah.
And you know,
I still can drop for my number 2s.
Yeah.
But I still gotta prioritize who's who.
Yeah.
But
No, I'm agreeing. Sorry.
no,
Yes.
I totally agree with that. And you know, I can say I'm gonna speak for myself. I fell in those shoes. I can honestly say that. You know, I put everybody else number 1. I shared that in my first podcast about, you know, because we thought we were somebody. We thought we made somebody laugh. So okay, we like show up again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we entertain people. Okay, like show up again. You know what I mean? So I truly say is find a space where you at and realize what you did. And when I say we're perfect, we're not saying, you know, you're a bad this or that. No, this is our experience we get to learn from.
Yeah.
And now reset the status, right? Who comes first in all that we do, and we get to be better fathers. You know what I mean?
Big time.
And all that. So we're talking about that line. Now we're married.